Hey guys, and welcome to the fifth video of Stock Talk. Today's April 5th and it's currently 7:22 p.m. Eastern Time. So before we get started, we always start by talking about SPY. And let's take a look at SPY on the 180 days. And before this drop, right, this after market drop, let's talk about what happened today during the market. So looking at the 1 minute chart, and if you guys were watching the market like I was confused. I was confused the heck out of this market. Why? Because let's take a look, right? We have some consolidation when we started, and then it hit its peak. It hit its peak at 266.64 four times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and each time it got rejected. Now, when it got rejected, it went down. But not only did it go down, it all the way went down below its previous intraday bottom, which was what? 264.57. It actually went down to 264.29. So at that point, at 264.29, you could have thought that we were back into retracement mode. Because what did we say yesterday? Looking at the 180 day on the SPY graph, we said that, sorry, that's not the 180 days. So 180 days, we said that yesterday's huge increase, right? We had a huge increase in the Dow Jones, went overextended over the EMA line. So we said that there was a possibility of the stock market going up today, or it could go back and retrace to the 20 EMA or possibly to its previous support. So at that point on the 1 minute chart, right, one might speculate that we were going, so it might go to the EMA and then come back down and keep going down until it retraces back to the EMA. What happened? It went straight back up, went back over the middle VWAP, and then went to the top VWAP to retest the resistance. So that was extremely surprising to me. And then it got rejected the fourth time to come back down, but not to the middle VWAP, not to the bottom VWAP, but to somewhere in between. So if you guys were in a SPY trade and if you guys were positive following the markets today, props to you guys, because I feel like this choppiness today, it was kind of hard to find a good entry and kind of hard to find a good exit unless you found the exit at the resistance. But it was hard to predict where everything would be. Now, overall today, if you guys were watching the market like I was, you guys can say that the market was actually slightly bullish because we closed over 265. Okay, we closed over 265 and Dow Jones went up 240 points. Now, let's take a look at that 180-day chart again and zoom in on this trend. Okay, look at these 4-hour candles. So let me zoom in a little more. Look at these 4-hour candles made today, right? We have a bullish candle followed by a bearish candle, right? But they're equal magnitude almost, and the bearish candle is slightly smaller than the bullish candle. So if you guys try to put those two candles together, what do you guys see? You guys actually see a slightly more bullish candle with around the equal amount of wicks on the top and the bottom. So at that time, we could say that we are still slightly bullish tomorrow in terms of the stock market, and we might see the momentum continuing tomorrow. Now, what just happened now, right? After market, there was some news about Trump and the 100 billion tariffs that was being imposed on China, and look what happened. The SPY went from 265.64 after holding up really, really well to currently 261.74. And now you guys can see on the 180 days, because of this news, which is why it's kind of hard to predict what the stock market will do, but because of this news, we actually retraced back to the 20 EMA. So why is this important? One is because we were looking for the retracement, and two, we said that if it retraces back, it has a potential to retest this previous low at 256.72. Now, what am I predicting will happen tomorrow? Now, because this is news, it is hard to predict what will happen tomorrow. For example, it might be temporary, and people might say, oh, these tariffs aren't so bad anymore, and the stock market will recover overnight and will go back up. But if people think this is another fearsome, like people are more fearful and we are overextended over the EMA line and people think this is justified, then we might see it come down to the previous support tomorrow. And once again, we might see something really huge drop. So I want to just guys focus on what happened in February, right? In February, we had this big drop. Let's take a look. Okay, we had this big drop, and the next day, what happened? It went up big, right? Just like yesterday. Now, this day right here, February 7th, is supposed to be indicative or kind of representative of what might happen today. So what happened on February 7th? Let's take a look. The first 4-hour candle was a big green candle, followed a big red candle, rejection candle, which is why the next day we saw a huge decline. Okay, that's what happened. So today, my speculation at the time was we might have something similar. And you guys can see we formed a red candle, but this candle wasn't as big as the green candle. But because of this news, we might have it put, that's the catalyst, right? For it having it pull down back to the EMA line and possibly back to the support. So I want to tell you guys about one position that I entered today, which was TVIX. Now you guys might think, oh my gosh, are you a genius? Did I predict Trump's plans? No. Now, as a matter of fact, I entered the trade right here at $9.85 when I thought it was going to go up and that we were going to start the retracement because we were forming this pattern where we consolidated at this low, and I bought it in $9.85. Now, at the time, I didn't realize that I didn't have any more. I had day trades, but I could not sell the same amount of shares that I bought. So I bought it on the Robinhood account, and then when it came down, I couldn't release all my shares. So I just kept it in my account. Next time, that's not discipline. That is something that I felt like I did out of urge. I didn't do out of, did not set a stop loss. And look what happened. It came down, even though it came back up, didn't reach this previous high, and it came straight back down, and we ended $9.36, which was 6.6% off of my account. I did not enter a good position. I kept my position even till now because I can't sell my shares. I got lucky, okay? This is not the way to trade. I did not set a stop loss. I rather would have set a stop loss and got out right here, right here, than have it be lucky right now and for me to be up. Because that's not discipline, and in the long run, this will not make me money. So you guys I hope you guys can learn from that lesson and not make that same mistake. So I was in TVIX. So that's my analysis for SPY and TVIX, and you guys can take a look at UVXY, which is pretty much doing the same thing right now. It's surging up because of the volatility and of the news. Now, I was in the position called JNUG. Now, JNUG today, I just want to guys show you that I was looking at /GC, and Ricky, who is part of the Learn Plan Profit group, which I'm in, is extremely helpful in terms of technical analysis. He's the person who kind of like mentored me and got me up to where I am with his videos. And you guys can check him out too. But we identified our support, right? You guys can see the support at 13.25. And this support at the time, it made this candle, this slightly bearish indecision candle, and at the time I was getting really nervous. I was getting nervous because on the 1 minute chart today, when the markets open, you guys can see it went down and it spiked up, right? But it went down, and I was nervous that it was going to keep going down. I shouldn't have been. JNUG at the time was trending around $13. It even went under $13. I was getting nervous because yesterday I told you guys that my stop loss was set around $13. Now, I canceled my stop loss because I was wondering what would happen at the support at GC. Now, it trended all the way up. I identified this resistance right here, and then it came down. Now, when it started coming down, I actually sold my position of JNUG at $13.28. So even though I made 3 cents profit, I was just a little too nervous because you guys can see that it broke the trend before it came back up. Okay, and that's why I was a little nervous. So I was like, this might be temporary. So where did I sell JNUG? I sold JNUG when it was $13.28. When it was coming down over here, right here. I sold it right there at $13.28. I did not know that it was going to keep going up to $13.46, and now because of probably the news catalyst, now JNUG is at $13.48. So that is that. So if you guys take a look at /GC now, it looks exactly how we would expect on the 180-day chart. We see a bounce off of the support. And where do you think the next resistance is? Well, if you guys are in JNUG, awesome job, because we can probably say that the next resistance is probably at 1345.6 and 1350. 51. That's the next resistance. So just if you guys are in the JNUG position, just watch your positions. But good job on, holding your ground. So next time, what am I going to do? The stop loss I set originally, like I said, was around $13. If you guys were constantly monitoring JNUG, then you guys could have been a little more conservative and held on to JNUG, or a little bit more risky, I guess, and held on to JNUG and see what would have happened. So a couple of stocks I want to talk about once again. JCPenney. We keep going to this stock all the time because JCPenney is on the uptrend, like we said. And today, because the stock market was bullish, JCPenney went up 4%. And you guys can see. So right now, what I'm looking at for JCPenney is it is about to test this SMA line. This is the 150-day SMA. What happened last time? It hit the 150 SMA and it came down. This might act as the next resistance. So you guys be careful if you guys are in JCPenney, especially if the stock market does go down tomorrow. We are looking for a retracement back to the EMA before potentially bouncing and buying into JCPenney. That's the one I'm looking at. The next one I want to talk about is LABU. LABU, the previous day, went up like, 12%? Something crazy. What happened today? The stock market was doing well, but it looks like the biotech ETF could not hold, and now it is going back to its previous support at around 67.84. It's actually going at 69.90 currently. So what are we looking for? We're looking for a bounce back from 67.74, and then once it bounces, you can ride it up around 5% back to its EMA line. This is something to watch tomorrow and the day after to come because we have identified the support. And we know that this stock, ETF, has the potential to bounce up. All right. The last stock I want to talk about is Tesla. Looking at Tesla, and we see Tesla is at 295 following the markets, was that Tesla went up 6.5% today. Remember yesterday, Tesla went up like 6.5 or 8% yesterday? This is overextended. We identified a possible resistance at 300, and because of the stock market today, the resistance wasn't even there, to be honest. Let's look at the 1-minute chart on Tesla. Where was the resistance? Can you guys even identify resistance? No, there was no resistance because it just followed the trend. So what am I looking at? Tesla is overextended. We know that it has the potential to go back up. So we need this to come back to the EMA, which is around in the support line, which is actually around 283.91, before considering and buying into Tesla. We know that it can get up. That's the important part. And now we know where's the resistance, guys. Can you guys identify the resistance? This is the new resistance right here. Okay. So I will be monitoring the futures as well as any other news that comes out today and tomorrow. And I'm looking to sell my position of TVIX in the near future. Now, actually, I haven't done this analysis yet, but let's take a look at TVIX. We're back at the EMA. Now, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. It might keep trending up, or it might get rejected and come back down. This is hard to say. So I'm looking to release all my shares tomorrow regardless. And that's what I'm going to do. So thank you so much for watching this video. Like if you like this video, and if you didn't like it, I hope you like it in the future. So come back to this video and watch my channel, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys tomorrow, Friday. And every day seems like to be decision day. It seems like something different is happening every single day. So let's keep looking at the stock market and make some money, right? See you later.